So I thought, don't worry, while I'm talking to you, I'm just doing my craft, so don't worry if I'm fiddling while I'm talking, okay? I can multitask. Anyway, I thought I would do a video to give you a brief idea of how I developed fibromyalgia and ME and sort of the story of it all, really. So we're going to go back to 2016, a couple of years ago. Don't worry about that noise, that's the washing machine. It just sounds like it's going to take off. I'll just talk a bit louder. Anyway, 2016, I had a laparoscopy, through which, if you don't know what that is, it's a little operation. They go through your belly button, and then I had another small incision to the side, and they sort of go through with a camera and see what is going on, because I was having really bad periods. I've always had bad periods, like really heavy, painful periods where I've, you know, had to have time off when I was at school and college, etc. I went on the pill from quite a young age. I think I was about 11, because I started my periods when I was 9, so I was very young. And yeah, I went on the pill to help, which it did for quite a while. But when I tried to fall pregnant with Mark for the girls, like with Holly, I had a miscarriage the first time, which I know is very common thing, doesn't make it any easier. And they said they think it's down to the fact that I've been on the pill for such a long length of time. Whether it is or not, I don't know, but anyway. So when I had 2 miscarriages as well, because I had a miscarriage before we conceived Poppy as well. So when I had Holly and Poppy, I decided not to go back on the pill because of the amount of side effects it was giving me. And they tried all sorts. They tried the coil, and that didn't agree with me. They had to whip that out quick. Then they did this laparoscopy beginning, I think it was February 2016, and they found that I had loads of fibroids, but they're like the size of a pea. So, and they were just everywhere, which could explain why I was having the heavy painful periods. But anyway, also my womb tilts back, which apparently can happen. I've known other people with that. So once they discovered this with the laparoscopy, we then went to go on holiday in America, the 4 of us, and that was at Easter 2016. The 4 of us went to Florida for a wonderful holiday, very lucky. And it was there that I started to feel a bit unwell. And I was like, oh, I don't know, it's just, there's something not right. And what happened was, like, if I was hungry, or even if, for no reason, I'd get these pains, like in my stomach and up here, and feel really sick. Then we came back from America, and it was Mother's Day. Holly had bought me a trip to go and see The Play That Goes Wrong in London with her, which we did go and see. And I didn't feel very well that day, and I just thought, oh, it could be anything, you know, just enjoy the day. And then it was the following early hours of the morning. It was a Monday, and I thought Mark had gone to work because I didn't know what was going on. and I had the most excruciating pains across my stomach and my back. And I thought at first I got a sickness bug, because, you know, you just think, oh, I'll go to the toilet, and that made things a lot worse. So I managed to grab my phone and message Mark, and luckily he hadn't left, because this was still like 5 o'clock in the morning. He was downstairs, so he came upstairs, phoned the doctor. The doctor said, well, not the doctor, I think he phoned that, whatever it is, you know, the NHS helpline thingy. And they said, oh, you've got to get her to A&E. He said, well, I can't get her to A&E, she can't move. Literally, my back had gone into such spasm and I was in so much pain that I couldn't move. My mum and dad came over, so they ushered the girls off, because I didn't want them obviously upset by everything, even more than they already were. And then they phoned when Mark said he couldn't get me to hospital, they called an ambulance, blah blah blah. Anyway, I was taken into hospital by ambulance, and they did so many different tests on me. First of all, they thought I had appendicitis. Didn't have appendicitis. And constantly, I was in there for a week, okay? So I was in hospital for a week, and in that week, I reckon I had the nil by mouth sign put up and taken away about 10 times. Yes, we're going to operate. No, we're not going to operate. Yes, we're going to operate. No, we're not going to. And this just kept going on and on and on. I must have seen about 15 to 20 different consultants, because they didn't know what was wrong with me. They'd put me on a gynae ward because they thought it was just something to do with the laparoscopy, which it kind of was, but what they discovered after tests and whatever was I had a small amount of fluid around my small bowel, which shows basically infection, which meant they concluded that the laparoscopy I had caused infection around my bowel, which caused me all the pain and what have you. So I was treated on different antibiotics, sent home, and then they wanted me back in for more tests. I underwent then the most horrific tests. I mean, I know lots of other people have had them, but they were pretty horrific. I mean, MRI scan, I had to drink like a litre jug of this orange liquid in like 10 minutes. And then I had cannula in my hand. While I was in the scan, they were pumping me full of more stuff. That was just horrendous. I'm trying to think of the other scan I had. I did have another thing, and oh yeah, I went under general anaesthetic. I had a camera put down my throat to see why this was happening, and then the last test was the most horrific, I think, and by that point I'd had enough, and so had my body, and that was, you had to drink all this laxative stuff the night before. And then in this scanning room, they put a tube, there's no nice way to say this, up my bottom, and basically inflated my stomach with air, which the pain was, I can't tell you. And then scanned me in all different ways. Well, I was in such a state by that point. And the lady that was there was very nice, and she said, "You've had enough, haven't you?" And I said, "Yes, I have. I've had enough. I reached that point." And I remember afterwards standing, trying to get dressed in this cubicle in floods of tears, just thinking, I have had enough now. And it turns out there's a few things. The first one was I had so much scar tissue inside me from having 2 cesareans from the girls that it was winding itself all around all my internal organs, especially my bowel. Not constricting it from working, but that was causing pain as well. And I have had IBS, like pretty severe IBS, since I was about 6. I've always been on like laxatives and things. So I think any little thing and my bowel was just like, I've had enough, Obviously I was off work for a while, and I went back to work slowly to sort of edge myself in, but things were still not right. And with my job, before I got ill, I used to race around that school like there was no tomorrow. I used to be here, there and everywhere. You know, I put everything into it if I do a job. But I just knew something was wrong. I was having time off for, like, I had pains in my body and things were just not right. And then it got to a point where my mobility was being affected. They bought me a swivel chair at work to try and help. But I was just literally, I had my parents and Mark's parents sort of marched me into the doctors at one point and just say, you can't carry on like this, Nick. And the doctor said, you're going to have to leave work. So it had taken from that laparoscopy from February to December for the fibromyalgia and ME to kick in. Now, some people say that you're born with traits of fibromyalgia and ME, and if something happens, like some horrendous trauma, it can trigger it into your body and for it to come alive, basically. And they're saying that's what happened with me. I was very upset when I had to go off long-term sick in December 2017 because I'd never missed a Christmas there in 9 years. And then it just progressed from there, really. And I've been to ME clinic, and they said because I've got more pain than fatigue, I'm more fibromyalgia than ME. But yes, there are both things present. Obviously it affected our family massively because the girls and Mark saw, you know, their fit mum and wife go from this running around doing everything sort of person to not being able to do much at all and in pain all the time. And that must be really hard to witness that. So the girls, like I say, they've had counselling, I've had counselling. Mark hasn't because he's always too busy at work, so he hasn't been able to go for counselling. And we've just taken it a day at a time, and that leads us up to today, really. Everyone knows, if you've watched my other vlog, which I'll put in above, on why I had to leave my job. I had to make that really, really hard decision. I didn't want to leave my job. I love my job, but you have to be sensible. And now I'm making craft when I can do it, when I can feel up to it and I can fit it in. So yeah, that is my story of how I developed fibromyalgia and ME. And it's taken the family a long time to realise that this is it. Yes, ME, you can get better. You can not completely. I think you're always going to have a little bit in there, and you have to be careful. But fibromyalgia, you can make things better for yourself, like I am. I take vitamins. I take zinc, magnesium and turmeric every day, and vitamin A. I take tablets for my bowel so that actually works, because otherwise it wouldn't work without them, and I have to have laxatives. I try to eat healthily. I try to drink healthily. I'm more active now, doing 2 to 3 workouts a week from Coco Lime Fitness. I try to walk Evie when I can, when I'm up to it. But I think the biggest thing is listening to your body. You've got to listen to your body. I have neglected my body for so many years, and that's kind of why I think it just said, nah, do you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. You're not listening to what I need. and you're not giving me what I need, so therefore I'm going to cause you pain. And now when I'm in pain, it's usually a reason I've done too much, or it's emotionally connected to stress, or upset, or even excitement. Excitement can cause pain. I mean, you think, how cruel is that? But it's true, you know. I mean, I'll be excited about going on holiday, but I'll also be like thinking, right, have I got everything? Have I packed everything? Have we done everything? And all those feelings together, you know, will cause pain. I know that, but I am sort of prepared for it. I don't know how you can prepare for pain, but it's not the fact that you get used to it. I don't think you can ever get used to the pain. So remember to like and subscribe, hit the little thumbs up, hit the little bell, and you'll receive notifications. And I'll catch you next time.